Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. It's prediction time. We've got two big fights coming up this weekend. Finally, Terence Crawford is back in the ring after, I think it's over a year, isn't it? Shawn Porter for WBO welterweight division. And then, Demetrius Andrade is defending his WBO against Jay Quigley on the Friday night. That's on DAZN, I believe. Crawford Porter is on... Is it on BT, pay-per-view, or just BT? I think it's BT.
Who's that? Sorry, which fight?
Crawford Porter.
I thought it was on Sky.
Oh, okay. Might be on Sky. Anyway, we're here. I'm here to talk about it with Rick. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks to everybody that has subscribed and is liking the videos and sharing. It really helps. I think we've made the magic 50 now.
Have we?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have.
I'm chuffed. We'll probably lose one back to 49.
Let's give you a little bit of a boost before we kick off.
I said we could get to 100 by the end of the year, and it's just gone downhill. Still time.
There's still time. Well, anyway, we're pretty consistent. We like to do at least a couple of videos a week, boxing news, predictions, reviews. So yeah, the big one this weekend. I'm really looking forward to just seeing Terence Crawford back in the ring, to be quite honest. And I actually think this is a really good test. So yeah, I'll let you sort of take this one away. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I see Porter on point. Sorry, not Porter on point. Crawford on point.
Right. Okay.
Not with it tonight. Crawford on points. I just think he's that extra level, and unfortunately for like Porter, he's a good fighter. He'll give it his best. He's world class, but he's just not elite. And I think when he stepped up to the elite, he's got found out. He's been beaten by Spence, Brook. They maybe say Brook's not elite, but that was probably one of Brook around his prime.
Yeah.
And who did the person he's lost to?
Keith
Thurman. Yeah. Again, when he was, in probably around his prime. But he never gets like totally outclassed, and he's always, in it. I think some of them have been like majority or split decisions, some of those. So I think it will be tight, but I think, Crawford will do enough. And I think it probably could be, though it will be competitive, it will probably be the clearest loss Porter's had.
Yeah.
But won't be like, whitewash or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I'd actually agree with that, because I think Shawn Porter, I mean, it was a split decision win over Errol Spence. I mean, but that was 2 years ago. He's only had really one semi-competitive fight since then, which was against Sebastian Formella a year ago.
And I think it was a majority against
Kell Brook.
I think it was unanimous against Thurman, a majority against Brook.
Yeah, it was.
So the majority and the split are obviously there's split is one person thought he won, and then majority is one person thought he drew.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah,
close fights.
Yeah, there were, and Shawn Porter's style, I think, is almost tailor-made for Terence Crawford, because Shawn Porter, he just likes to come forward. He's very aggressive. He's not quite as technical or as cute as like a Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. I just think it's almost kind of tailor-made for him. I think he'll be be doing a lot of the switching, pivoting out of pockets. He'll just be catching with those hooks. He's pretty good on the inside as well, Crawford. And yeah, I just think it'll probably be the most conclusive kind of loss for Shawn Porter. And I say, I think he's tailor-made for him.
Chance of the stoppage?
I'm not sure. No, I don't see it.
No, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, obviously, but I'm not going for that. But that was the question in my head, really. It wasn't who's going to win. It's could I see? Because that'd be a huge statement, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. It would be a huge statement. Not impossible. I mean, I'm just trying to think of Crawford's, decent stoppage wins. I mean, Kell Brook and Amir Khan were not, I think Kell Brook was a shell of himself, getting back down to 147 again. I think he was a sitting duck. Just trying to think of some of the other stoppage wins that Crawford has had. Yeah, I just don't know if he quite carries the power at 147 because Porter's a big 147. Like he's a monster at 147.
I don't remember Porter being down. Those fights that he's lost, I don't remember him being down.
Didn't Adrian Broner put him down in the 12th round. He still lost it, but I'm pretty sure Adrian Broner put him on the seat of his pants in the 12th round. I'm remembering something like that. But no, I mean he has got a pretty good chin, and he's been in there with the best of them. You know, Shawn Porter, you know, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman. You know, he's obviously beat Danny Garcia, Kell Brook in his prime. That was probably the best Kell Brook, actually. I think those couple of years where Kell Brook was, I really think he could potentially have been the best, you know, 147. That was obviously before Errol Spence came on the scene. He was still kind of a prospect at that time. But yeah, I don't know. I think at 34, you know, he has been pretty inactive as well.
He's 35 now.
Porter. Yeah. So yeah, I think this could be kind of a semi kind of cash out for him. I mean, I don't see, and it's in a shame. I mean, I know he has been world champion in his own right, but he's kind of come in a very difficult kind of era where you've got like the likes of Crawford and Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. Yeah, because I think in any other era,
like Devin Alexander and stuff like that, and this is where, you know, probably right around that time when Brook was arguably the best.
Yeah.
Who else did you have? Who was the other guy who? I think him and Alexander fought.
Tim Bradley.
Bradley, was a quite religious guy, I think. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we'll see.
All right. So we're both going unanimous points win. Demetrius Andrade versus Jay Quigley. How do you see this one going?
Unanimous for Andrade.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, I've not seen tons of Quigley, but I've seen bits of him. I remember his last fight against what's his name, Junior.
Shane Mosley Jr.
Mosley Jr.
Yeah, it was a great fight. That was
about that when people name their kids the same name as them and stick a junior on, it's almost like they want another life or something. It's quite American, isn't it? Really. Shout out to our American subscribers. Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing that fight. Weirdly, that was his last fight, and it was a 10-rounder.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a gas tank issue anyway. And that 10th round, he looked pretty flat, so he needs to sort that out. But I just think he's not quite kind of the level. He seems to have good, mixture of punches. He throws body and head uppercuts, and that seems comfortable with both hands. But I just think Andrade is just a bit too slick, and will just work him out and just prove his better quality, really. There may be some early rounds where it's a bit tasty, because I think, Quigley won't be shy of having a go.
No,
and he'll just come forward. But I think Andrade can deal with that. It probably suits him. So yeah, I see that as about as competitive as the other one, really. I think Quigley will have some success. He might win a few rounds, but it won't go. He won't win many rounds.
Okay. I'm going for a Jason Quigley win, unanimous decision, or maybe a split decision. Yeah.
What's making you say that?
I think going off of Demetrius's last performance against Liam Williams, I think he maybe did take him a little bit lightly, but he did get caught. And I think Jay Quigley is a level above Liam Williams. I really do. And I think you're right about the gas tank issue. In later rounds, he was known for kind of fading a little bit, but I do think that he's corrected that now. And I just think he will have the right.
He had in his last fight, and that was only 10 rounds.
But he was still throwing big bombs, though. He was, I think he was still carrying that power, and I think he actually, I think that was a really good performance against a very top, he was good, he was game.
Yeah. Good that we disagree anyway.
Yeah, I know, makes it a little bit more interesting.
I have a feeling this is one of your. I'm not 100% behind my backing, but I like to be different, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there is sometimes an element of me with my predictions. I do like to be kind of more contrarian, but there's nothing that makes it a little bit more exciting. Especially, I mean, he is the underdog, but I do see.
Put it this way, I ain't getting up for either. I'll be watching both the next morning.
I've just been a big fan of Jason Quigley as well. I do really rate him. I think there's a very special fighter there. He has kind of got it all. He does get caught quite a bit on exchanges, but it is his style, exactly. Yeah, it's exciting to watch. He should have more of a following as well. I don't get why he doesn't have a bigger following, Jason Quigley, because he's very exciting to watch. But he is super technical as well. Like, he's got a great jab, hooks, he's got good footwork.
Yeah, I mean, he looks very comfortable with, all different kinds of shots and combinations and stuff. And but he does leave himself open. And I mean, not like you said, it would be a knockout anyway, but I don't think he's got huge power. I don't think he's a soft puncher, but I don't I mean, again, I don't know enough about Mosley Jr. As a chin. I mean, if he's got a chin like his dad, then he's got a good chin, but he took some flush shots and just didn't show much reaction. There was a bit here and there, but
there was a few stages where he was wobbled. I just think him and Andy Lee, well, they'll have the right game plan. And Demetrius Andrade, he does look very uncomfortable when he's under pressure. Like when Williams was kind of like backing him up and put him under pressure, he did look uncomfortable. And Quigley, I think, would be bringing a lot more than that. It would be bringing the heat. And I think
I wouldn't rule that. I think if someone says to me, if I wake up in the morning and he's lost, without looking at it, my view would be Andrade has taken him too lightly, not only before the fight, but also during the fight, and miscalculated where he is in the fight in terms of if he's winning or not. Because I think he can sometimes, in his recent fights, he's been a quite quick starter. And he could have finished those opponents early on and then kind of seemed to drift. And that's when Quigley could come on stronger, and he might misjudge where he is. But I don't know. I just think he'll be a level above, really.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We shall see. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try and get up for it. Actually, it's always difficult with me and having a young family getting up and watching the boxing. But I'm gonna try and get up for these two fights. All right. Cool. That's predictions done. So we've got 3 more predictions we're going to do for next week. We'll do Lopez, Kambosos, Haney, Diaz, and then Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yard 2.
Lopez one caused a lot of uproar last time, didn't it? We might just do a separate video on that.
I know, yeah, could do actually. But yeah, we'll do a quick review on our predictions on Sunday, so we can catch up then, and then maybe roll out some other news. Is there anything we need to catch up on? Was it the WBC convention today, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday, and two bits came out that have got Twitter and the social media going, and that's basically Canelo's coach basically called out Makabu at cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So I think Makabu has made a response saying he's going to knock him out or something. But interesting. Obviously, me and you had a good debate over where we'd go next, and neither of us said that, did we?
No.
Now it has to happen, I suppose, first. But I mean, I was probably a bit closer because I said I think he'll go more for his legend than to do, mandatories that don't mean much. And this is the thing. And he's obviously picked because Makabu is not a big cruiserweight, in fact, at all. Like, I think some of his fights, he comes in at like 193, 194.
Right.
And you don't drain yourself to that, do you? What's the point? So
he's quite short, isn't he? Is he under 6 foot?
Yeah. I mean, it won't look height-wise. I imagine he's only a bit bigger than Canelo.
No,
it won't look daft.
No. Where I remember when it did look daft is when Canelo fought the Liverpudlian. His name's escaped me now.
Smith.
No, not Callum Smith. The guy that Callum Smith starched in a round.
Oh, Rocky Fielding.
Rocky Fielding, yes. Yeah. That was
I think
ridiculous.
Smith's just about the same height.
Yeah, about the same actually. Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting because obviously, the same way, there's only one winner, but there is a weight difference. I would favour Canelo, but it is another uncharted territory, and that will be. I mean, I don't know what Canelo comes into the ring at, but I imagine it's high 170s.
Yeah.
If he gets down to 168 for his fights, I imagine he comes in 177, maybe 180. So if Makabu is 193, I don't know what he is nowadays, but I think other fights he's been around that.
I just wonder if
Makabu could land clean on him, can he take a cruiserweight's power?
Yeah, I think he probably can. But Makabu's heavy-handed. Let's not forget. I mean, he put Bellew down, even though he did eventually lose it.
Oh, I mean, he had a before going. I think was he not the favourite going against Bellew, and he was like
he was, yeah.
He'd had some big knockouts and stuff. So
Bellew going into that was an underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting, and I kind of, I'm way more up for that than some of the potential other fights in his current weight division. I mean, I'd probably be more buzzing for some of the some of the more high profile light heavies. I think Makabu is a kind of he's the easiest of that weight. That's an easy way to get a belt, but it's still intriguing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the other news is I suppose it's news that didn't happen that was expected to, which is everyone was expecting them to say that Fury has to now fight Whyte, and it's not happened. They've not said why, but I've seen a recent interview with Hearn as of a few hours ago saying there's ongoing legal things, and so the WBC can't announce it yet, almost. So it's not like they've not announced it and they're going to announce someone else. He seems to think that there's some legal stuff that is getting close to being sorted out, and that will lead to it. I think from how he's describing it, if they just announced it, it would be at WBC terms, whereas through the legal things, it's more protection for Whyte. So I think they're happy to pursue this, something like that.
It's a bloody mess, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it doesn't keep rumbling on. I mean, if we're in this spot this time next month, it'd be like, well, hang on a minute, how long is this going to take? Got the feeling that the legal stuff should be done in the next couple of weeks, and then it might be announced or whatever. An interesting thing as well that we're saying is, I didn't know this, but I don't know what the WBC split is from mandatory. I know in some are like 20-80, some are like 70-30, some are 25. But Hearn said something like, if the WBC mandate the champion to fight the what is he now? International champion?
Right? Is he the silver champion?
Or whatever he is?
Yeah, whatever he is. Yeah.
A higher split to the other guy, so it's more 45-55.
Oh, is it?
And I don't know if he's playing the game. I don't know if that's an official rule, because then he goes, I saw something from Top Rank saying it should be 80-20. He goes, well, that's not going to happen. So it's just interesting. It's almost.
I don't
think
it's
down to splits. Maybe the legal stuff is down to splits.
That doesn't sound right. I can't see the WBC giving 45% to the mandatory challenger.
No, I never heard of that before. But it's almost like if you're a mandatory with this belt, it's fourth. And I don't know if they've done it once before, but WBC make shit up as they go along, don't they? So there is no rule or policy. They've probably done it once, and he's picking that out the sky. So I mean, I've always thought like a 70-30 is probably a fair split in for anyone.
Yeah, it kind of depends, doesn't it? I mean, if you look at like Floyd Mayweather, or back in the day, Oscar De La Hoya, or any of the kind of the big kind of box office fighters, if you're lucky enough to be in that kind of position, and maybe yeah, the split is maybe a little bit unfair. It's a little bit like getting a lottery ticket, isn't it? But, you know, you've earned it as far as I'm concerned. If you get into a mandatory position of an organization, you should have, you know, you've got to have earned it. You'll have had an eliminator and then a final eliminator.
Yeah, and to be honest, they know, if for a lot of them there is a set rule, so it shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
It's whether they try and do a deal and offer White something. You know, they might say, right,
I don't know.
Here's 10 million, and that's, you know, 20% of 50 million. And Hearn goes, sod that. I could make this fight for 70 million and give White 15 and more, you know, and give 5 more to, or 15 more to Fury. So it'd be interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Something stinks. Not. Yeah. Like I say, I hope it doesn't rumble on. But I mean, I still struggle to see the fight going ahead. To be quite honest, I hope, as I say, I've said before, I hope I'm wrong. Going back to the Canelo and Makabu, I do hope that Canelo is just kind of a bit of a. He doesn't stay at that weight. He comes back down to super middle or light heavy. Because I just think that it could potentially ruin him. A lot of people said that Roy Jones Jr., when he went up through the weight divisions all the way up to heavyweight and then came back down to, I think, light heavy, he was never quite the same again. There's something, he kind of ruined his body a little bit. I mean, he was still very good to kind of go on and have, you know, a decent career for, you know, 3 or 4 years and still beat some of the top guys in his division. But there was just something.
When he tried to do it, I can't remember.
So he beat John Ruiz in, I want to say 2000 or 2001. So he was kind of still in the, you know, relatively in the peak of his powers. He was just unbelievable though, Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of sort of common sort of conception is when he came back down to light heavyweight, he was just missing something. He was never really the same again because he just put his body through all of that, and that might be the weight on.
Well, I think for someone with his skills, you can't, you know, you lose your advantage.
Yeah.
Earlier potentially. It was the Eubank press conference today.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Williams press conference. I only saw little bits of it, just almost like a bit of fake beef, really. It felt.
Yeah.
Eubank looking a pillock as normal and in gear that trying to make himself look brilliant. There you go. Okay.
All right, let's wrap it up. Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Are we good to go Sunday night? You gonna be around?
Yeah, should be.
Let's catch up on Sunday. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's take it easy.